Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar, The Power of Google Places, How and Why Every Business Needs Top SEO Positioning. This is going to be presented by Winston Cook. He is the Chief Operating Officer at Local SEO. And Local SEO helps clients all over the country to help them with their SEO. And today, he's going to go over all of the things that they offer for their clients and how you can apply that to your business. Just a couple things before we get started. First of all, this webinar will probably be around 45 minutes long. At the end, there will be time for Q&A. So if you do think of questions along the way, go ahead and type those into the box that you see in your GoToWebinar window, and we'll be happy to answer those at the end. One of the questions we get at every single webinar that we do is this being recorded? And the answer is yes, we're going to record this. It will be available for you to view next week on our resources page. So if you'd like to refresh your memory on all of the great things Winston is going to present today, you'll be able to do that next week. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand this over to Winston and have him start doing his presentation. So let me do the tricky thing here. Okay, so I've handed it over to Winston.
Great. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
All right, perfect. Hi, everyone. My name is Winston Cook. I'm COO of Local SEO, and Vertical Response has asked us to come in and talk with you guys today about place pages and local SEO and how that can affect and work well for your business. As many of you guys might have already been finding, there's constant changes within place pages, and there's a lot going on within the local SEO space. Part of local SEO as a practice is also defined as your place page management, and place pages are an extremely powerful tool for a local business, simply because having a unique address and actually doing business within a certain location gives you the ability to market in a way that a company that does not have a local presence cannot do, and we're going to go into that in a little bit. But just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of a roadmap of what we'll be talking about. So really this is about the power of local map listings, why every local business needs top positioning for local map listings, and we're going to go through how you can make that happen for your business and for your place page listings. Just to give you a brief history of local search, and why as a local business it is important. Contrary to how it may seem, the often frustrating landscape of local search, specifically place pages within the search engines really are trying to help the local business person. Many local companies have expressed their frustration to us around feeling like they don't have control over their place page accounts. This frustration is certainly warranted, and we at Local SEO are confronted with the whims of the search engines every day when working on behalf of our clients. Whether it's Google not displaying a correct phone number, reviews not posting, or images being changed, we've seen it. The important thing to keep in mind is that while all of these are very real and pressing issues, it can often seem as if the search engines are conspiring against the local business owner. To put this in perspective, it's important to look at the issue in historical context. Google introduced places in 2004, and for the past 7 years, they've been attempting to showcase your business to searchers in your area that are looking for your product or service. The good news is that they are dedicated to making business listings an essential part of the search experience. That being said, just like with everything within Google and all the other search engines, things are done in their own time frames and in their own way. It is in constant change. You could almost call it in beta for a lot of this. But they really are constantly trying to improve these, and they're constantly trying to improve them so that you as a business owner are given the opportunity to show up well when someone is searching organically for your product, for your service, or for a business type of your from the slide here, the great news is that since 2004, Google has consistently rolled out releases to try and make place pages better for the business owners as well as searchers. If you look at the image below, you'll see that there's an escalating amount of releases and improvements. However, as with anything in the Google universe, these things happen in their own time and on an undefined schedule. One thing that we hear from our clients all the time is, why isn't there a customer service wing for Google Places where you can call in whenever you need to and have things changed? And oftentimes there's information that might be presented in a way that you didn't want it presented, or images that get pulled. The good news is that Google and the other search engines really are trying to do they're really trying to be very helpful. Sometimes when they're trying to be helpful, it ends up not being exactly what you would have wanted. Just to give you a really great example, local SEO is in the Denver market, and downtown Denver is our home base. We do all of the auto dealerships for John Elway. When John Elway bought a new location, we rolled out their place pages for them, and within doing that, and when doing that, after we had completely done them correctly and optimized them as much as possible, what ended up happening was an old phone number that was actually not the phone number that the John Elway automotive location wanted, ended up being posted in that place page. And even though on the back end within the Google Place management section, the phone number was correct that should be displaying, it was not displaying correctly when people were searching for it and looking for it. So essentially, the phone number that was oftentimes being called was actually the wrong phone number, which, as you can imagine, within the automotive space and when you're trying to sell cars, is a big problem. How we ended up facilitating and changing that was that we actually had to search for that phone number and find every area within the search engine, essentially every directory, every piece of content that had that phone number, and essentially ask them to change it so that phone number no longer got pulled. So to say that the place pages can be a little bit whimsical would definitely be a true statement. It's something that is in constant flux, but what you will find is that if you fill out your place pages correctly and you do some of the things that we're going to talk about today, even though there can be small things that happen, such as Google pulling some images that maybe weren't the images that you wanted in there, on the whole, it's going to be a great business decision for you, and it's going to be a great business practice. Just once again to talk about why these are so important. If you have a local business, and that is defined as a business anywhere in America, and you have an address and an actual physical location to which mail can be sent, you can get a place page for free within both Google, Yahoo, and Bing. And you are allowed to fill this out, put in your own information about your business, your operating hours, and all the information that you would want for someone to know about your business. What is so powerful and so important about these is the fact that your competitors, even within the same city, they will not come up the way that you will when someone is searching for you and they're closer to you. So this is all done by proximity. So if you are at a certain zip code and a person is looking for you within that zip code, they're going to find you rather than finding the person that is 2 counties or 2 cities away. So especially within local search, and especially when you're looking at people that are going to be looking for products or services, and they don't want to drive very far, or they want to find somebody that's close to them, or maybe you live in a metropolitan area and the person's going to want to take public transit, or they're going to want to walk to a location. These are extremely valuable tools because you are in a very select group of people that only have access to this because of your physical address. A statistic that came out recently in search engine land actually said that on mobile devices, 50% of the people that do a search for a product or service and find a local business, whether it's their website or their place page, 50% of those people end up walking through the door for the local business. So when you think about that in perspective, for any of your other marketing dollars that you're spending, your place page becomes extremely powerful and extremely important, because 50% of those people that go looking for what you offer, and what you offer is exactly what they searched for, and that's why they're finding you. 50% of those people walk through that door. So it's a very powerful tool, and not something to be ignored, or to not spend the small amount of time that it takes to do it correctly. So Google Places is now Google Plus, and essentially is Google Local. So essentially, what do we need to do now? On May 30th of this year, Google did what it likes to do, and it had a complete revamp of what used to be your place pages, and is now called Google Local, Google Plus Local. Essentially, what happened is there are roughly 80 million place pages, and those place pages were automatically converted into Google Place or Google Plus Local pages. What that really means is that the pages ended up taking on a new look and feel. This is just one for one of our clients. Another one of the bigger things that happened when this rollout came about, aside from changing the look and feel, they tried to make it a bit more aesthetically pleasing. They also, Google had previously had bought Zagat, and so they used to have a 5-star rating system, and they actually started using the Zagat rating system, which goes up to 30, and it just has different qualifiers, such as for a restaurant, you can be rated on your food, as well as the interior of the building. So rather than just saying, it's 1 through 5, and you have a 1 through 5 star system, the rating system goes 1 through 30, so it's a bit broader. It also allowed for all of that content that Zagat has and continues to have, and also those reviews to be placed within your Google Plus local page. And obviously that's always a good thing, because that means there's more reviews going into your local page. So, and the other big thing about this rollout, essentially, is that if you have a Google Plus account, or if you use Google Plus, what you'll find is that now you can actually search for local within Google Plus. So it's broadening the range from where you can actually look for and find a place page. Previously, you would have just done this from an organic search. So you would have just gone to Google and said best Mexican restaurant, and then you would have seen some AdSense at the top, and then you would have seen some place pages, because those were the places that are immediately around you, and then you would have also seen some organic listings. Now this searching can be done within Google Plus as well. So it gives those people that are engaged within Google Plus a new way of looking for that, and then also just transferring straight over to Maps and things like that. Okay, so real quick, I'm just gonna hop over to a browser just to show you what this ends up looking like. So as I've told you, we are actually in Denver, so I'm just in my Google Plus account, and just to show you what I mean by that, essentially, this is my Google Plus account. Google Local down here is that additional button that rolled out on the 30th, and here you can actually see now, rather than a 1-bar system, I have the capability of saying, so I can start looking for a best restaurant, or best Italian food, Denver, Colorado. And so I end up seeing these local pages, and as you can see, when applicable, when they have them, I can see these Zagat reviews, which especially for restaurants is extremely helpful. Also, if I wanted to, and I had done a review, let's just say that I went to Maggiano's Little Italy, which is a chain, so it's it might also be in your locations as well, wherever you are. If I had gone there and then I wanted to write a review, I can actually publish my reviews on my Google Plus, and that way when people are looking for a restaurant or for whatever the product or service might be, they can actually look for people that have posted reviews or have who have mentioned or checked in or had some interaction with that place. I can look for it within my circles. So this essentially makes the review system even more interesting. So I could look for restaurants that have been reviewed by people that I know or that are essentially in my circles, whatever, because obviously you can have acquaintances and things like that within there as well. But it brings a social aspect into searching for this, which if you are getting good reviews and people are talking about this and obviously people are adapting Google Plus more and more. So as time goes on, this is going to be even more important. That's really why Google did it, is because they want to be able to have this interaction, and they want it to be all within Google Plus, and that way, you can see what your friends and your family and your acquaintances are enjoying and looking at all this stuff. So. And then if I decided I wanted to go to one of these, I essentially I can click on. And it takes me straight to the page. Now you can see in here, I've got all the information. If I wanted to write a review, I can. I can also just have it take me straight to Google Maps, in which I can see where the restaurant is. I can still see the page, and if I click on more info, I'm automatically taken to the place page. So there's a lot of great ways to interact with the place page from within Google Plus, from within Google Maps, and also on your mobile device. So you can see why there's so many more areas and applications for interaction, and that's really what Google's trying to do here. That's the reason that rollout happened. Okay, so let's talk about these main areas. Talk about these main areas and factors for determining your Google Plus local page and how it's going to rank within the search engines, primarily Google. There's 5 categories for place page factors, and off-site factors, on-site factors, review factors, and social and mobile. Here's just the top 5 from each category, and we'll briefly go through them. As we talked about, physical address located within city of search. That's really the core of what it comes down to in terms of your physical location. When you go to claim your map listing, you will get a phone call or a postcard with a PIN number, and that is how Google will know that you are who you say you are, and that you will then have claimed your listing. So that physical address that we've talked about is extremely important. And you have to have it in order to get that place page. Proper category association. If you're a restaurant, you're going to want to list that you're a restaurant. You're going to want to list, and it'll have subcategories that you can put in there too. A lot of these categories, when you're going through them, can seem a little bit tedious, but you really do want to spend time in taking a look at them. You might also want to take a look at how your competitors have set them up if they're well ranking. That's something that we always recommend, especially within categories. Oftentimes, as business owners, we have a view of how people think of our business and how we look, but you might also want to try to put yourself in the searcher's shoes and think about how someone goes about searching for you. Is it Italian restaurant, or is it downtown restaurant, or is it just restaurants in Denver? So give those things a thought, and always do some research and go ahead and take a look at what your competitors are ranking for and how they're doing that. Proximity of address to the centroid, meaning the center of the search. So essentially, you want to also talk about if there's other areas that you serve. If you're in Denver, but then you might want to say that you serve downtown Denver. You can work on those as well. And then individual owner verified Google Plus page. It's always great to go ahead and have a Google Plus page. And then that can actually interact with your Google Place page, and the things that you post, the interaction that you have within your Google Plus and the people that are within there, then you can share your Place page with them and ask them to have reviews and things like that. Off-site factors, quantity of structured citations across the web. This essentially speaks to data aggregators and areas in which oftentimes they're talked about as directories. Essentially, when Google takes a look at your business in any search engine, really, what they're looking for is they're looking for consistency of information across the web. So you can use UBL, Universal Business Listing, is a great example of this. You essentially you post in your information, your address, your phone number, all of that, and essentially then it gets published to different directories, data aggregators, and areas around the internet. And Google is looking for that consistency because they don't want to see your business name with 4 different phone numbers and 3 different variations of the address. And so oftentimes that's actually where the confusion comes in, and when Google will actually change phone numbers and things like that, because they believe that they're actually finding, if they find more instances of one phone number than another, they believe that they're being helpful by doing the right phone number. So it's worth the time and the added cost. Usually that's around like $50 to $70 for the year to go through a data aggregator such as UBL. And it essentially will push out all of your information in a one-time feed, and then keep updating it if there are any updates needed. So again, quality and authority of these structured citations. So where is your information published and listed across the web, and are these pages like YP or super pages, or are they within newspaper sites? Are they within business directories? If you're within the legal area, it could be something like FindLaw. So these are authoritative sites from which Google will give more weight to that information than to just say a web page that has just kind of random information on it. So again, that consistency that we spoke about, the consistency across the web of these citations. Again, you want all of your information to be correct and consistent. Cannot stress that enough. So don't take shortcuts. Even if you're putting your information into a directory or into, let's just say that there's like a local plumbing association. Don't take a shortcut and abbreviate the way that your information is going to be posted. Take the time and write it exactly the way that you want it, and that it appears on your place page and in the other areas in which you've listed it. Again, quality and authority of unstructured citations, such as if let's just say that you're going to be written up in the newspaper, or there's the newspaper has a local site in which they talk about local businesses and local companies. You're going to want to make sure that when you're doing that article, or when you're being interviewed for it and they ask you for your information about your company, again, you're going to want to keep that consistent. Don't let them abbreviate it, or not put in the full information, or abbreviate your business name. Don't use a nickname for your business. Just use your standard business information, and that's very important, because when it gets published and then it gets shared over and over again, there's a lot of that floating around the internet. And then quality authority of inbound links to the website domain. So this essentially, again, if you're going out and you're publishing your own web page on different directories or on different professional sites, again, make sure that the information that you're putting is correct, and then also make sure that those are quality sites. Again, if you were a lawyer, like FindLaw would be a good example. Just that are reputable, so that those inbound links that are coming to your domain are going to be of a high quality. That will also help you with your actual organic SEO. On-site factors, domain authority of your website. This is something that one way that you can help this a bit is if you when you're actually buying, when you have your domain name, rather than just buying it on a year-to-year basis, go ahead and actually go and do like the 5-year. So that essentially when it's being crawled, they see that you actually are going to have the domain for the next 5 or 9 years or whatever you want to do it for. But doing it rather than just doing it on a year-to-year basis. So your city, state, and your Google Plus pages, you just want to keep, whenever you're building out your Google Plus page, you want to talk about where that you are within that city, because that translates to your Google Place page. And then also even on your own website, if there are pages within there, you can also within your title tags you can build in your city or your state so that they see that reference. Product or service keyword in the website URL. This is something that you can certainly do if you're getting a new domain, but if you already have an established business, then you don't have to. But a good example would be the place page that I showed a little bit earlier. That is one of our customers who's they actually have a medical spa as well as massage and body work. Their actual domain is called Body Massage Wellness. So they actually have body and massage in the domain name, and then actually they also have great content on the site to support that as well, which is very important. So again, geographic keyword in your website URL if applicable. If you've already bought your domain, then it's not something you don't want to go buy a new domain and change this out, but it's just something if you're launching a new business. And then city and state in your website title tags where applicable, but you don't want to do that. You don't want to just do it on every page. But if you do have a page that's a form in terms of like your map page and things like that, you can actually put in your city and state in there as well. So here's where we get to the really important stuff, and essentially your review factors. So your quantity of native Google Places or Google Plus reviews. Google has been obviously Google Plus is their product. They do give a fair amount of weight to it. It just came out yesterday that they're actually going to be, they said they're going to be indexing Twitter quite a bit more. Twitter's always been a good source of content as well, but they do give a little bit more weight to their own product, which they're pretty open about. So what you're going to want to get positive reviews for your Google Place page. And when you get negative reviews, you're going to want to go in and at least comment on them or try to get another positive review, so that the first thing you have is not a negative review, because that's just you spent all that time having somebody get to your review page or get to your place page, and then the first thing they think is a negative review. You really want about at least five positive reviews. So when you're asking good customers of yours to actually, asking them if they've had a pleasant experience and if they don't mind going in and giving you a good review, you're going to want to ask them to actually, use the words like restaurant or whatever product or service you have in there, because that helps with keyword connotation. Quantity of third-party traditional reviews. So again, that's why Google bought Zagat, but this is another example of if you want, you can also do reviews on Yelp and Zagat and things like that, or ask your customers to, so that those help you. And then location keywords and reviews. So best restaurant or best meal I've ever had in Denver. Those are other words that can be used in the reviews that are positive. And then just the velocity of native Google Places and Google reviews. So essentially, you really do, you want to take a look at your competitors and how many reviews they have. So if you have 5, but they have 55, that's not to say that you want to do fake reviews, but because you don't, but what you really want to do is you want to put together a system in which you start interacting with your clients and really, really engaging them and asking and helping them to get those good reviews for you. Social and mobile factors, the number of Google Pluses on a website definitely assists in the process. Number of ads and shares on Google Plus, so you want your audience sharing and adding your place page and your website. Click-through rate from search results, so the better, as you get better ranking within your place page, it also, the search engines want to see that people are clicking on your place page from those search results, because what that means is that the person has found what they were looking for and have then gone to your place page so they can do business with you. Authority of +1s on websites. If you can get if you can get a high quality website, such as, let's just say, like the Denver Post, to do a +1 on your site, obviously that carries a little bit more weight than just having ones that are not as authoritative. And then you want to try to get as many ads and shares and posts and comments and things like that as you can, because those things all show that interaction that essentially Google really did this for. Okay, and just very quickly, if any of those things happen that we were talking about in terms of Google, on your Google Play page, anything coming up that you're not happy about or that's not showing correctly, if you actually just Google Places, you'll actually see there's a tab in there on the search that actually says quality guidelines. And here actually you can do, you can actually request the removal of Google Places reviews. So if someone's actually put in like a false review for you, if you work in the auto industry, this actually happens quite often, and there's a lot of industries out there in which people get a little bit nasty about posting fake reviews that are negative and things like that. So one way to combat that, it's not a surefire way to get taken off, but at least you're able to make a case for it. If you find that you actually have information that's being posted that's bad listing data, there's actually a button right here, which will actually take you to a page in which you can specify what it is and ask for it to be changed. How fast that happens is entirely up to Google or the search engine, but just to let you know that there actually is there are places in which you can work on getting those things done, so I did want to share that with you. This actually also has all the guidelines, quality guidelines for doing your place page correctly. So it's something, if you haven't already done your place page, I would highly recommend going to it and taking a look at it, or even if you have, just to go through it and use it as a guide. Okay, so we talked quite a bit about Google, but let's not ignore the other opportunities that are there and that you can take advantage of. So the local map listings you have been ignoring, but you shouldn't have. So yes, Google is a big gorilla in the cage. However, as a local business owner, you need to take advantage of all the resources that are available to you. Bing and Yahoo still make up a portion of search volume. It's about roughly 15%. We at Local SEO have found that their user base are very dedicated searchers. This means to you as a business owner, they're very valuable. They have a high time on site. They don't bounce nearly as much as Google oftentimes. So they're actually very qualified, very good traffic. Single best piece of advice you can give is to fill out any local map listing as thoroughly as possible. They will literally tell you how far you filled it out. Fill it out to 100%. Make sure that you're looking at your competitors and other people that are ranking well, and get ideas about what else to put in there or how to structure these things. Don't just fill it out in a rush and feel like you've done it and it's complete, because this really is the first line of defense in terms of you getting more traffic from the local searches. Again, just don't do the bare minimum. Do as much as you can, and look at your competitors. All right, 5 optimization tips for Bing local listings. Claim your listing. As we were saying, for any of these, Claiming your listing is the most obvious and the thing that has to be done. Make sure that you get those postcards or you get those phone calls and you call in with that PIN number. It's astonishing how the amount of local businesses that have unclaimed listings floating around in the search engine. And those unclaimed listings essentially are not doing you any good because you're not actually getting all the information that you want in front of your people. If you don't claim your listing, sometimes the search engine will automatically fill it out for you. Most often than not, this is not a good thing. They might put some of your information, but they'll put it in whichever format they found it or they feel was most applicable. So essentially, you're not taking matters into your own hands. Standardize your basic business information. Make sure that your business name, address, phone number are the same across the internet. Don't list your 800 number as your phone number. Use your local number so the search engine correlates the local area code that your business phone has. Add images to your pages. Search engines love images. Google has bought YouTube for a reason. Vimeo and all those are very popular. Don't just load up one image. You want to add the maximum. The same goes for videos. Put in video when it will allow you to. Bing wants to show the user an image of your location so you're as informed as possible about your business. Take a couple extra minutes and make them good images. Google has a project now where they're actually sending out cars across America, just like they did for Google Maps, in which they shot the exteriors of buildings. Now they're going to be shooting the interiors. The reason they're doing this is because they want someone to be able to look for a business and look at the outside and the inside of the business and see what it's like before they even ever walk through the door. And you can essentially take matters into your own hands by doing that yourself. Adding on to number 2, make sure that the information you're inserting in your business profile is the same across the internet. Use a data aggregator like UBL to make sure your information gets published correctly and uniformly across directories. This is worth paying for, and it will be applicable for Google, for Yahoo, for Bing, for MapQuest, for any of the other ones that you might end up using. Sorry. Last but not least, make sure the information about your business you publish in your place page matches exactly what you have on your website. This might seem tedious, but you don't want mismatched phone numbers, different hours of operations, or any discrepancies between your website and your business listing. Most importantly, make sure that all the information on your contact page or wherever you're posting this is exactly the same as you put it in your place page. And this goes for all the major place pages. All right, what you can do with your Yahoo listing. Again, Yahoo makes up that part of that 15% of that traffic, and it's quite valuable. People that are using Yahoo, if they're using it and they're searching for something, there's no reason to miss that opportunity to get in front of them. So for Yahoo, there's 2 types of listings. There's basic and enhanced. Basic is free and offers very simple functionality. Enhanced is $9.99 a month, but it's worth the price for the extras you get. The top 5 most important for these enhanced listings. You can write your own company description, working keywords that will benefit your local search efforts. You gain access to reporting, which is valuable local data. You can add up to 10 images, whereas I believe with the basic package you can only do 1 or 2. So don't forget, search engines love images. You can add coupons or promotions. So when they find your place page, they're looking at it, you can actually offer up a coupon or promotion for your business, have them print it out, put it on their mobile phone. Any of that just furthers interaction. And you actually get access to more detailed categories and specialties. So further information that you can list on there. Worth the $10. Another map place page that's often overlooked, but actually fills in a lot of information and actually is used quite a bit in automotive and things like that. MapQuest and beyond. While it's true that search engines are a primary source of search traffic, don't count out map and business-specific sites such as MapQuest, City Search, and Super Pages. Listing your business profile in these sites increases your local digital footprint and covers all avenues in which a person might be looking for your category of business. So, you know, if someone's using TomTom or MapQuest or something like that while they're driving and they're looking for a local business, whether it's a gas station or a sandwich shop or any of those things, oftentimes if they're not using their phone, they're going to be using those types of operators, and you want to come up well within there. Your UBL drop or any of your data aggregation drops will actually help with this as well. They will publish to MapQuest and TomTom and things like that. So you can actually look on their site and they'll give you a listing of everywhere that they publish. Real quickly, just to talk about the power of reviews again, never forget the power of reviews. We live in a viral and a social age. Customers understand the power of positive and negative reviews. If your business is doing a good job, you want to show that in your reviews. If something isn't up to par, you don't want to bury your head in the sand. You want to respond to those negative reviews, create a dialogue with the customer. Even if you don't win them back, at least it shows on your place page that you made the effort to do the right thing and actually engage with the customer. There isn't a magic formula for reviews, but we recommend getting at least 5. However, take a look at your industry, and if all of your competitors have 50, you need to bridge that gap and show that you have as much positive information going on as your competitors do. You want to be inventive about how you do this, how you get reviews. Obviously, you can ask people to do it, but oftentimes that people just kind of go home and forget. So be inventive about getting reviews from your customer base. Great to talk to them in the store and hope they go home and write and post that review. However, you be more forward-thinking than that. Two strategies that we've seen be very successful. Number 1, create a card with your place page links and hand it out to good customers. Make it worth something if they post a review. So when they come back in with a card, they earn a percentage off or something fun. This actually allows them to go home, post that, and then the next time they come in, you can have a conversation about it and tell them thank you, and then you can always ask them to do this with a friend or forward it on to a friend, or ask them if they know any other friends that are customers of your business that might be interested in doing this as well. Really, it just it opens up that dialogue. And that's what you're looking for on your place pages. You're looking for that positive dialogue of customers that come in and have positive experiences and really enjoy your business and the things that make your business unique. Because that's what people are looking for when they look for these things. They want to do business with good companies, but they also want to do business with companies perhaps that their friends have done business with. And Google Plus is a prime factor in that happening, and you're going to see it happen more and more as people start adapting Google Plus more. Use a service like vertical response. I'm assuming most of you guys are using vertical response now. You have your database in there. Tag that customer in your database and send them a customized email with links to where reviews can be placed. In doing this, you can also identify brand ambassadors for your business so that you know that the next time that there's something good that's going to happen, you can say, hey, come in, please use our service, or look at this special. And then if they like it, they can post another review about it. So essentially, it just gives you a good way of using vertical response, which hopefully you're already using, and then you can interact with your customers that way, and it's actually trackable, and you can see if they clicked on it, if they did something with it, which is always more positive data in terms of how people are interacting with your business. All right, 5 things you must do. Map listing checklist. Verify your listing. Google, Yahoo, Bing. Done through an automated caller postcard. If you only do one thing today, do this. If you aren't sure if your place pages are claimed or not, you can use one of our services, just localseo.com. We have a free business report at the top of our website. You can literally just put in your local business phone number and your email, and we will shoot you a report of how well optimized your place pages are. And we'll also give you information about your social pages. So if you aren't using or haven't started using vertical responses program called Roost, would highly recommend that. We use that and greatly enjoy it. Integrates with your vertical response page, and you can really wrap all this together. So please do feel free to use our free tool. We're more than happy to give you a review of that and then work with you on it as needed. Select the correct category tag. Keep this simple. If you're a pizza parlor, don't just use the keyword pizza. You're going to want to say, restaurant and then pizza. Think of the categories people would use when searching for a business like yours. Again, can't say it enough, your business description. Fill out this completely and use the keywords that people would use when searching for your product or service. Add images and video. This should not just be used. This should not just be of your building, but of your product and your service, if that service is being executed. So let's just say that it's if you sell gardening supplies, you're going to want to show not only your building, but you're going to want to show pictures of people using your gardening supplies, or of the gardens that people are actually building when they're using your gardening supplies. You want to show more than just your building, more than just what you want to show what happens with your products and your services. Tag it on, as we said, reviews. Let the search engines and your customers see how great you really are. So all of this really helps change your local perspective. The exact number of ranking factors for each search engine are unknown. Google has hinted that just for places, it's over 200. At localseo.com, we know you're busy running your business. doesn't mean you can't rank well within your local place page searches. Start with the basics. This won't happen overnight, but if you chip away at it, you'll find that your rankings will improve over time and that quality search traffic is walking through your door. Again, don't forget that 50% number of people that do a local search and find a place page or a local or your local website and then walk through your door. That's traffic that's walking into your competitors' doors every day. So you really want to get in front of that. Place page management can be tedious, and if you feel like the search engines are out to get you, especially when you see other local companies ranking higher for terms, and you feel like you offer better product or service. Many times customers ask us, why can't we just call our customer service and have it changed? The answer is, at the end of the day, this is a free service, and Google and Yahoo and Bing are working on solutions to the problems in their own time, whatever that might be. Local SEO is committed to making this experience as seamless as possible for your business. In order to do that, for the vertical response family, we're offering a special deal that's only available for vertical response customers. We do place page management for $19.99 a month, and we manage that process for you. So if that's something you're interested in, you can literally just go to www.localseovr.com, and there's a special vertical response page on there, and you can give us your information, and we can talk about that process. But please do use our free tool on localseo.com. Just post your local phone number in there, and we're more than happy to give you a custom report for your business, and then talk to you about how things can improve and how you can get more traffic from that.